This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Good evening and welcome to the Going Off Grid podcast, aka Spaces. Today is February 16th, 2026. I'm one of your co-hosts, She Bender, along with Crypto Queen. Hopefully, she'll be on board here shortly. But in the meantime, I appreciate everybody coming out. Yeah, tonight, got a few things to go through. First, though, let me start off with some disclaimers here. This is not financial advice. You can lose all of your money investing. This is also not for educational or entertainment purposes. I nor anyone that is speaking is a financial, political, legal, medical, vetting, or any type of expert advisor. These are thoughts and opinions. These are our thoughts and opinions on different topics only. This is recorded for future rebroadcasts and clips for other platforms. Thank you, and appreciate everybody stepping in tonight. Let's see here. I guess while I'm waiting for Queen, hopefully she's okay. I'm just going to kind of go through a few headlines here with everything, and let me just pull up the bookmarks here. Shout out to Spaces or X, I should say, on one. I don't get a lot of benefits, unfortunately, from the paid subscription because they shadow banned the F out of my account, and yeah, I've gotten like 2 million views in a year. You're supposed to get like 5 million in a month or every 3 months, just to kind of get that in perspective. But that's okay. Anyway, the sorting of the bookmarks is one that I do enjoy. So that is pretty cool. And thank you everybody for coming here with us this evening too as well. With everything, let's see here. Oh wow, I got a lot of interesting stuff going on in here with the bookmarks. Let's see. You know what? I'm not, let me just hang on that until I get right up here to talk where I can kind of take a little concentration on it. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna kind of run through this list here, and I'll just put some things in the comments with everything. Uh, Again, you're on Off Grid Podcast. tonight. Appreciate everybody coming through. So, a couple of them I didn't get a chance to go through last week. So this is like about 2 weeks old that I found pretty interesting. Um, the U.S. Treasury paid $292 billion in quarter three of 2025. That was in regards to overseas holders, I should say, of bonds with everything. That's an average, just to give you an idea. That's an average of roughly $1,760 per 165 million estimated U.S. taxpayers. So in one quarter, $1,760 is paid overseas in bonds through the U.S. Treasury. Speaking of that, this year we're supposed to go up to about 9.6 trillion in U.S. debt, additional on top of the roughly, I'll say at least 37 trillion that we have now in the next 12 months. That will cause an additional $192 billion extra in interest alone, just at the current level of rates, I should say, in regards to that one. ChatGTP rolls out ads for free and some paid tiers. I did get a notice from ChatGTP on this too as well. I found it real interesting that they had said that the ads were based on things that you liked, but the AI answers weren't going to reflect that. So I'm not sure how they're balancing the two of those, and I'm paraphrasing that. I'm pretty sure if y'all got ChatGPT, you can read the full memo on it. But I'm paraphrasing that. But yeah, I found that really interesting with that one too as well, with everything. And then hang on here before I go into the next one. Queen, can you hear me? Are you up here?
Can you hear me?
Okay, yep, I got you. It's still showing you as a listener here, but I know I accepted your approval with that one. Since you're going to invite too, thank you for coming up with everything. I'm just while I was waiting on you, I just decided to just go ahead and get started on the list a little bit, just because people in the room with everything. But yeah, so that's interesting that ChatGTV now has on their free and some paid tier ads or ads on their free and some paid tiers in regards to that. Let's see here. Another one from last couple of weeks ago. I didn't get to 6,000 IRS employees have 50 million in unpaid taxes, average of about 8,000 each. So the IRS employees don't even want to pay their taxes either. Just to kind of give you an idea of that, which I found hilarious. Queen, guess how much the Trump family has earned in roughly the 16 months Trump has been in office off of crypto?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna say 25 million.
25 million?
Yeah, just a guess.
Just a guess. Well, I'm just going to kind of give you an idea here. I'm just going to tell you. The Trump crypto earnings in the 16 months since they've been in office has been roughly $3.45 billion. 1.25 billion of that coming from the World Liberty Financial alone, and I think the other 2 million ish are kind of estimated in their holdings and everything. That could be fluctuating, of course, as crypto prices go up and down. This is roughly last week sometime, uh, and everything. But 3.45 billion in earnings in 16 months that we know of that can be tracked. How do you think about that?
That's crazy. That's way, way more than I thought. They are making bank, like
Yeah.
legit bank off of making crypto easier to use. They are definitely making it easier to use for the Trump family.
Like straight up, um, the I want to say the Trump token by itself was probably a couple of billion, just to be honest. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna be straight up there. Like that alone was like, yeah, a lot. But yeah, I think they own what USD1, USDC1, and that one kind of thing there too. Yeah, it's out of control here. All right, I have an
How
interesting thing
much do
going.
you think of that is Barron Trump himself?
The rumors are Barron Trump was kind of behind. Barron Trump, don't quote me on this. I'm just saying rumors. Don't hold me accountable. Like at the beginning of the show, disclaimer. So I know Trump and them like to get a little legal happy there, but the rumors are Barron is really locked in on leverage trading. Has made a couple hundred million there, and has probably pulled like a bunch of rug pulls on pump pump fund and that kind of thing. Don't quote me on that, but
He
those
earned
are
all that from his basement while not having to build a single building. Can you believe it?
right. But they've estimated a minimum of 80 million from him alone. Yeah,
That's wild.
right. So I'm not showing any. It's weird because I'm sitting here in front of my computer here, and I was just trying to get the off grid podcast logged in with everything just to kind of come up here on the speaker panel. But now I can't see anybody on the phone, but I can see y'all. I can see y'all on my computer, which is really strange. Okay, we're cool though. As long as y'all can hear me, it's whatever at this point. Yeah. All right, Clea, I'm gonna take a pause there while I pull up, hopefully, and be able to put some stuff here in the purple pill. Appreciate everybody. Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, Bender. I'm just sending the spaces to a couple chats.
No, it was just asking me to reconnect. That's what I was asking. But yeah, I am going to put a couple things down here in the comments for you, Queen, let me discuss. But in the meantime, if you would like to please tell them about your um the lessons from the trenches, I should say, coming up tomorrow. That series on TikTok. Give us a synopsis of the last 2 weeks in terms of what you discussed and what you got coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. So, Lessons from the Trenches is a series I started last year, and it's just kind of my experiences through 5, almost 6 years in crypto, what I've learned from being in the trenches, as you could say, or in the crypto space. And it's kind of the just lessons, good things to know that I've made. I've made the mistakes so that you don't have to. So I'm just kind of a guide for newbies and seasoned investors on just things to watch out for. So last week we talked about crypto cults and just the dangers of cults, and what does uh, what does social engineering look like in crypto? And so it was a great space. I think it went on about an hour. Still kind of figuring out the the technical features of TikTok Live, but it's been fun. I've really enjoyed doing it. I have to do 7 lives before I can invite guests up, so that's my goal. So that was number 3 last week. I'm doing those at on Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern, so 6 Central, and it's just kind of me, kind of just chatting and just going through the lesson that I posted on X, like I said last year, and and just kind of talking to people that post in the comments, maybe questions that they have or their personal experiences, and just kind of sharing those. And it's just kind of a fun, casual conversation that we have. So I would love to have you guys. If you didn't make it for the first couple weeks, would love to have you this week. We're talking about where did the humanity go, and so just being kind in crypto and Web3, and things that you forget about after being in here for a few years and getting a little hardened to what it's like to be a newbie coming into crypto for the first time. So, just some good tips there. So, it'll be tomorrow night, 7 Eastern, on TikTok Live. I do have a link that I shared in a post. It should be in probably one of my last few posts with that live link. Would love to have you guys join us and talk about humanity in crypto. So thanks, Bender. I also wanted to just give a shout out to Gabby that's down in the listeners section, and she has a podcast, a space tomorrow night. It's called Seated at the Table, and it's going to be a great podcast. It's at, let me say, 6 p.m. Eastern. So would love to have you guys join there as well, and then leave hers and come on over to mine when she's done. And then after that, the treat space will be on. So it's a action-packed night on Tuesdays of spaces within our group. But yeah, I'd love to have you invite whoever you have. Maybe you tag a friend in here tonight. Share the space for sure. Let's see if we can get some more folks in here. We really want to just have casual chats about everything. Not necessarily just Shiv this time, but crypto in general and politics and whatever topic comes up. So hey, Treasure, good to see you. Hey, Peter, good to see you. David, nice to see you as well. Thanks for coming, guys. And please request the mic if you want to chitty chat with us. Don't be intimidated or scared to come up and talk. We're an easy bunch. And we have some fun topics to talk about tonight. Would love some more takes on those. So thanks, guys. And back to you, Bender, if you're ready.
Yeah, Quinn, I'm just putting a few in here with everything here too. And thank you once again in regards to everything. Wh- What's a good what's a sign that you're in a cult?
Oh my gosh, there's so many, Bender. But I would say the overarching theme from last week's episode was that if you're in a community where you're discouraged to hold any other tokens or discouraged to diversify. That's a sign that maybe there's something unhealthy in that group to where, there's so much peer pressure to just hold that one particular token or marry that token. We always say it's never a good idea to marry a token. And I think we've all learned that the hard way. And we've learned that through firsthand experience. But want to save, future newbies to crypto from getting involved. You want to diversify, you want to hold tokens in different ecosystems so that if one fails or stumbles a bit, you're not totally wrecked. You have your eggs in more than one basket. So that's definitely one. Also, just the transparency. If you aren't allowed to ask questions without being called a futter or whatever name that the group wants to call um, their folks that are asking for accountability. That's never a good sign. Just some yellow flags, I guess you could call them, probably red flags. That there's some reason they're not being transparent, or are they missing timelines? Are they, is their roadmap a little hazy? Are they, I think one thing that I'm going to be wary of in the future is Docs founders. I'm going to look for projects with Docs founders whenever possible because they'll be able to be held accountable in a court of law if something were to go wrong. So yeah, those are just a few takes from last week. Um, there's a bunch more, but I'll stop here, Bender, unless you want me to go into more detail.
Yeah, I'm just adding a few things here in terms of that one and everything. I feel like what's the best way to put it? I feel like I'm in a overall cult of crypto, not necessarily a project, but like what you described is like when people talk to me about like how crypto's a scam, and I'm just looking at them like with like Kool-Aid filled eyeglasses, goggles, I should say. Like I feel like I am just like deep in the crypto in that regard. Like yeah, like just gone. Like whatever you say, bro. Sure. Yeah. Like am I getting out of crypto? No. No. In regards to that one. So that's kind of why I asked you that too. With everything there too, because I just wanted to see if what I was thinking was correct, and I felt like this for a long time. So that's
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. And Murad, he's a pretty well-known influencer in the space. He has this list of tokens or meme tokens, they all are, that he feels are going to be, super huge. And one thing that he said to look for was cults. But I think there are good connotations of the word cult and negative connotations. So you want to look for strong communities for sure. You all have that in common. You all are going to work together and, push for adoption of your token. That's, the good part of being in a community, a cult community. But the bad part is when, things turn a little sinister and it becomes all about that one token and nothing else is allowed to be spoken. That's when you kind of get into the the negative part of being in a cult. And so just know when you're in a project, um, is it a healthy community, a healthy cult, or is it something a little more. And when that, if you start seeing signs that it is more, run. Like, don't walk, but run the other way, because it usually ends badly for everybody involved. Um, so yeah, just a couple of things to be careful of there. But the social engineering is, I mean, it's powerful. You've seen it firsthand. I've seen it as well. I mean, most of us in here have probably seen it. Just how you're, groomed to attack your neighbor, basically, if they were to sell their token. Um, you know, you're encouraged to hodl. You can't sell, you can't take profits. If you do, you're a trader, or you're paper hands, or whatever they want to call you, but you want to take profits on these tokens, because the chart goes up, the chart goes down. If you don't take profits, you're just going to follow that chart down for the most likely. So anytime have whatever is your goal. I'm sure some people have like a 3x, or maybe a 10x, or even more than that. Whatever your trading plan is, trade that plan. Don't give in to peer pressure and feel like you have to hold it. I know that's one thing that I'm guilty of all these years is, well, greed for one thing. You start seeing it go up and you think it's just going to go to the moon, as they say. But, they don't all go to the moon. And if they do go to the moon, sometimes they come back down to the ground pretty hard. So, when you have said this before, but I think this is probably the best indication of when you want to sell is when you take a screenshot of your portfolio and you send it to your friends and you're like, oh my gosh, look at this. That's like your number one sign to take profits. So anytime you feel that urge to take a screenshot, definitely sell some. You don't have to sell it all. Keep a moon bag if you want to. Continue to be part of that community if you want to, but don't hold that entire bag and round trip it. So yeah, just a couple tips.
Yeah, I totally agree on that one. Gosh, don't even get me started. In terms of round tripping, that's probably the biggest lesson in crypto that I learned early on. Not going to even lie. You saw the famous CZ tweet. If you don't hold, you won't be rich. And I think on a level, let me not lie. If when it came to Bitcoin, he was probably correct. On everything else, not so much. And that's one thing I didn't realize when I came in at 21. That peak in November of that bull run, which I don't even think has been duplicated since whatsoever. And I just thought, like, personally, when I got to crypto, that's just how it was going to be. Like, like you might have your downs, but your ups are going to be like that massive. Like, it was just kind of this, whatever 6 month to a year wave of everything. And yeah, I round tripped, probably not like generational money, but money that would have probably catapulted me into a position now to be in a better position now, I guess you could say. And yeah, that one, I, I I have to just understand it's a lesson, and people are going to make mistakes, and you're not an expert, and that's life. And just just this time around, don't make those mistakes again, whatsoever. Like you said, when your eyes start getting big, that just sell. Like, if you're up, and it makes sense in your position, especially, I'm not an accountant or anything, but for tax purposes, I guess you could say, if you're kind of over that threshold, you're in the profit. Like, no, what do they say? You never go broke selling in the profit. you know. So yeah, that's basically the attitude I've taken it, and it's definitely made me a very cerebral thinker in regards to trading now. Like before it was like rah rah, a little bit hoopla. I was smart about my investing, but again, I was probably the greed, like you said, and that kind of thing there too. But also, it was more, to just like, I'm a hold on this dip. I'm gonna wait for that next wave up, and the next wave up never happened. And just a lot of the tokens that I was holding just ended up being down what 89%, in the last 2 years. So yeah, that was like yeah, and even just the small ones, if I had cashed out, would have I could have just waited and held and came back up on those. So yeah, that's a beautiful one there, Queen. To
And
go on there.
haven't you had those tokens where you felt so much not only internal pressure to hold, but also pressure from the group? Like if someone were to be watching your wallets like they often do, and that they would come and out you somewhere on X for selling. I know I felt that pressure before, and that's another sign that you're that you're being kind of socially engineered to keep holding those tokens despite your right to take profits, right?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, Queen. My first year, my first 6 7 months in crypto, a lot of my holdings were on exchanges. Like I didn't really get into DeFi until a couple of months in with Shiba Swap. I think I told y'all this last week. I had that Sate on there. I had a couple of them. So and back then it was like it cost so much to transfer off a centralized exchange into a wallet. Like, I'll give you an example. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't care because I don't have a lot on there anymore now. But I had most of my sheep on crypto.com, and at the time, crypto.com wanted like 50 million of my sheep, or like 5 million. No, it was like 5 million of the sheep to transfer off. And at that time, it was worth quite a lot. Like, and I was like, no, I'll just sell it and rebuy it on the on the wallet if I had to do that. I mean, it would have cost less just to do that, But then I didn't want to buy it at the current prices either, so I just held it on there, with everything there too as well. So for me, in that aspect of it, yeah, I wasn't really concerned with the community, but I get the pressure because I have seen people get called out on social media for doing that. And that turns to them too, and people wallet watching and that kind of thing there too, which is kind of weird, but at the same time, how do you become a whale if you don't take profits? Like, yeah, you just really couldn't worry about that in the first place. But my personal experience was, and I don't know, maybe people now are watching my wallets. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you watch my wallet, great. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Ain't much to see, man. I don't do a lot of activity, so ain't much to see there anyway right now. But if you do that, more time to you. Hopefully, hopefully I give you some good lessons on buying support and selling resistance. That'll be my goal this year. Yeah, to teach stuff. So yeah, beautiful. And thank you.
Sure thing. Hey, I threw a couple mics out to see if we had some folks that might want to come chat with us. Treasure, I sent you one. Gabby sent you one. Frank, I'm going to send you one now. Hey, Julie. David, I don't know if you like to speak on these things, but I'm going to throw you a mic. I know Peter is not he doesn't usually come up as speaker, so I will just let him request. But yeah, you guys come up and talk to us. We are covering some news, but we won't grill you or anything on the topics. If you have something to add, please, weigh in. If not, we'll just come listen.
And Gab, before I forget, if you don't mind, please put your spaces down there in the comments too. People do usually go back and listen to the recordings there, so that's why I try to put some things in there for that one too as well, with everything. And thank you for doing that, if you don't mind. All right, I have been looking while I'm talking to you, Queen. Here, I have been looking for this one tweet in particular. I don't know if it goes, for some reason, X might not be letting me go back that far enough in my little offsite ones, and I don't want to scroll all the way down to my main bookmarks to find it right now. But long story short, because I don't want to keep the debate from last week going for AI. But just to kind of give a quick synopsis of AI last week after I was called an AI boomer, quote unquote. The very next day, a survey came out, not a survey, but the Anthropic, I believe, head of theirs had said they ran some tests with Claude. Claude had threatened to blackmail and kill somebody in a simulation. The engineers in the simulations, they tried to shut it down. The CEO of Microsoft's AI department said that AI will replace most white collar jobs within the next 18 months. They did just, not necessarily AI related, but they did just come out with 3D printed robotic boats or robotics that can print 3D print boats now. They were just showing those just printing just boats right along with everything there too. And oh yeah, shout out to Coach George. The because of the white collar jobs being threatened by AI in the next 18 months, the stocks for commercial real estate started collapsing last week too as well. So, but on the flip side of it though, you know, AI did help me out in terms of some information and some research on podcasts and that kind of thing. So I don't know if that quite balances out, but made some really good graphics last week too as well. So I still have my optimistic goggles on, and we'll just kind of see if humans start looking at a balance moving forward. But I did just want to note that after our discussion last week. Thank you.
Hey, Bender, did
All
we
right.
talk last week about all the AI kind of going crazy and doing their own thing last week? That one tweet.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to find, and for some
Okay.
reason, yeah, my section won't let me go down far enough. I'm gonna try to go find it in a second, but we are about at the halfway point, so I just want to run through the rest of this info here because there is one that I did have pulled up down there that I want to make sure I go over here because I thought that one was kind of crazy. Well, not kind of crazy, but I just thought it was really interesting with everything. But yeah, I'm gonna go back here and find it so that way I can run them all because there was a lot more stuff that the AI did. Yeah, it's really deep. But those are some of the highlights. I thought blackmail, uh, potential murder, and collapsing stocks was good enough. Kind of sum up AI's week since we last
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that tweet was pretty eye-opening, wasn't it? I want
Right.
to say
Yeah.
hey to Mr. Lightspeed. We have him up here. How you doing, Mr. Lightspeed?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually hit the request button by a bit.
Well, we're glad you
so,
did.
so here I am up on the stage now by accident.
Awesome. We're just going through some topics that have come on our radar in the last week or so, and just kind of covering these, seeing if anybody has any takes on them. Some interesting stuff. So hang in there.
So a couple other interesting ones here. Robinhood is actually developing an L2, a public testnet chain. Chainlink has got something to do with it. They quote tweeted it, but I guess it's going to be on Arbitrum. Coinbase is giving out or giving AI agents their own wallets. I think Banker has something to do with it, but I think they're also doing something on their own too as well. Don't quote me. I got the tweet somewhere. But they're doing some of the AI agents in their own wallets. Cash App. You'll be able to buy large, recurring, small amounts of Bitcoin. Twitter also will have a smart cash tag. I think they clarified it is going to be redirected to brokers. You won't be able to just trade directly on Twitter, but they'll be able to interact and you'll be able to buy stuff between stocks and crypto coming soon. Don't quote me on that, but that's what they said. Harvard, a nonprofit university, by the way, but Harvard swapped 1.49 million Bitcoin worth $73 million for 3.9 million ETH worth 87 million. I'm guessing they paid the difference in terms of that one, but yeah, Harvard has swapped a tremendous amount of Bitcoin, and they did note in the tweet that the 1.49% was only 21% of Harvard's stash, which I found really interesting. That kind of puts them at a well, but 1.49 million Bitcoin with that one too. Polymarket launches 5-minute Bitcoin price markets. And then this one I did find, Queen. I put it down here in the comments, but because that 5-minute Bitcoin market was probably going to be the craziest one that I saw this week. But the craziest prediction market I saw this week. It might be just probably top five grade. If something gets crazier than this, I'll be shocked. But I won't be shocked. But yeah, it'll be crazy. But there's live betting on rush hour traffic. I repeat, live betting on rush hour traffic. It's called CCTV. It's on a site called Roobet, which is a crypto gambling site with that one. And yeah, you can bet on rush hour traffic. I did put that one down in the comments. Vitalik, and I think you might want to talk a little bit more about this one too, Queen. But Vitalik Buterin had the prediction marches. He called them Corpo Slot, which I found interesting. There's one, I got to find that one. Oh man, I can't believe that one was lost there too. But this really cool self-moving chessboard. So like I got like the little chessboard app that I like to use in the game called chess, I should say, on that one. But this is like a real life when the pieces move. I'll find this one. It's pretty cool if you play chess. I'm not great at chess. I'm okay at it, but I like to play it. It kind of keeps my brain functional in regards to that one. But I thought this was really cool for all the chess players out there. Some few that just hit today. Logan Paul, Pikachu Illustrator, sold for $16.5 million. It was a Guinness record in terms of a card selling for that much amount. Coach George, I did put this one down here in the comments here too. Had some pretty interesting stats on Olympic medals and just how much the gold, the bronze, and the silver weighs and that kind of thing there too. Scientists did develop an AI bar in NYC for their AI friends. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Not scientists. That's a bar in NYC that they have people that just want to bring their AI friends to the bar with them. But scientists did develop also a liquid AI. So like if you ever watch Terminator 2, like the liquid Terminator, like it moves kind of like that, but it just didn't form into a human. It's really it's crazy. And then the world's most expensive substances by the gram. I found this one real interesting. And let me just pull that one up here for y'all. I think I got that one down there in the comments too. That's one that was kind of taking me a while to find. Queen, did you get a chance to kind of take a look at this list?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And I've been trying to pin everything that you put down in the comments up in the nest. So you guys scroll through those, take a look at them. I wanted to say the one about the live traffic gambling was pretty darn funny. Like I watched that clip and this guy was like getting all into it, like on a YouTube or Kickstream. I'm not sure which one, but it was like, okay, the downtown LA freeway. Let's see if how many cars can pass the red light before it turns can go through the green light before it turns red. And it was like, oh wait, there's a traffic jam. This is going to really impact the volume. And then he's like, well, it might turn out well because they all go at the same time. But it was like, what have we come to? Like this must be the bottom. People are gambling on traffic. Like what in the world?
Man, when he goes off like turn right, you. I am sitting there like, what in the world? Like Deegan, there is Deegan, and then there is like a Deegan's Deegan. In terms of that is like, yeah, that was like the pinnacle of like, I was like, all right, prediction markets just again, like I said, if something beats that one after that, I'm just like, it probably won't shock me, but I will be shocked if something gets more Deegan than that. Like I almost wanted to retire the prediction market segment after that. Like it can't get worse. Like we're betting on traffic. Like it cannot get worse.
I know. And just think of all the ones you haven't found yet that they're betting on. Like, oh my gosh, there's just no telling what's out there.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. All right, so this one real quick, Queen, before we go into the other stuff here. World's most expensive substances by price per gram. So I'm just going to kind of give the highlights on this. Wait, did you have one that stood out to you, one or two?
No, go for it.
All right, I'm not going through this whole list because a lot of this stuff I'm not even sure what it is. Just don't let me lie. But a couple of them to start out for me. Coming in at the very bottom, number 24, gold at $164 a gram, cocaine at $200, heroin at $250. Snake venom at 4,000 at number 21, and then plutonium at 230, or yeah, 6.5. Yeah, 239 and 6.5 kilos a gram, 6.5 thousand with that one. Number 12, LSD, 75,000 kilos, 75,000 per kilo, I should say. And then let's see here, moon dust at number 6. So if you can find some moon dust, y'all, 4.3 million. A blue diamond and a red diamond are 15 and 25 million respectively. Number 3 is Californium, which I'm not even sure what that is. I think it's got a hazardous sign by it, so I'm not sure what it is. Just don't let me lie. But it's I just found the name interesting. But it's worth 27 million. And then number 1, I don't know how you would collect antimatter. However, if you can scoop up a gram of antimatter, you are now worth $62.5 trillion. $62.5 trillion for antimatter, y'all. And again, that
Does
list is
that mean that Jen is the anti to your matter, and even though she's worth all that, you can never get it?
exactly
Oh my gosh.
I was going for an analogy here, because I was that's an awfully big number.
right in a gram of it.
Just a gram of it. We're not talking a
Just
full
a gram.
1 gen unit here. We're talking like a 1/1000th gen, and you can't even afford that.
Yeah, right. Like I usually like to measure in ounces, so I can't even imagine like just a gram. 62.5 trillion. Yeah, so that's insane with that one, and that's news this week. Also, before we get into the other ones here too, I do want to talk about this. Clifford, I see you down there. You kind of inspired me on this one. I want to make sure I did note this, but the Clarity Act. I just got an update on that one. So the biggest hang up right now, and I'm pretty sure there's more, but the biggest hang up right now is that on the Clarity Act, which they're trying to clarify some things with crypto and get it fully legal and that kind of thing. The yield. So the banks don't want any yield to be paid out in crypto, especially on stable coins. They tried to, I want to say, okay it for the rest of the coins. I don't know. Don't. I'm not a lawyer, actually. Don't let me lie. In regards to those and everything that's going on, but that's been the crux of it, and that's what we've seen. The Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong coming out with everything today. So just got an update here, and I'll actually put this one in the comments too. This is just breaking from Coin. Well, shit, wow, that's 15 hours ago. Okay, earlier today, I guess you say. White House crypto advisor Patrick Witt told Yahoo Finance that banks can offer stablecoin yield products just like crypto platforms and shouldn't view them as a competitive threat. So that's coming from the White House crypto advisor. So hopefully that and then some with everything there too. But I want to probably start a series of tweets here. And I'll probably put some of the information down here in the comments too. But there's also numbers that you can call. You can get right to the switchboard for the House and Senate. Go to your local rep. Heck, you might just be able to just call and talk to whoever you want to talk to. I mean, it's whatever across the board. House.gov, Senate.gov. You can find the individual reps that you want to talk to and their lines directly if you just kind of like to pinpoint things and do a little searching around. But I think this week I'm going to be a little bit more proactive in my voice and just not leave it up to the lobbyists and Coinbase to kind of facilitate that. We did vote for these people, and I think in America we have that right to they gave us the numbers and everything to call. Why not use our voting power? And I believe 50 million plus people in crypto or in the United States. And if we all got on the phone collectively and made our voices heard, I'm pretty sure that will wake some people up in Congress, like the banks and crypto exchanges, which we all, are sometime you on those two as well. People always tell you, don't keep your crypto on an exchange. So them at the table is probably not even our best representatives. But they're better than nothing. Don't get me wrong there too with everything. But I think if we hear from them ourselves, that would be more advantageous. And not only that, like I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't think yield's going away just because the Americans outlawed it. Like there's plenty of exchanges. There's exchanges that can go offshore and conduct their business outside of the realm of U.S. laws and offer it there, and then just geofence the United States, and everybody else gets yield, and then we're at a competitive disadvantage. So, yeah, I think these things, I think why before it is signed into law, let's make our voices heard, and that's where I'm at right now. So I'll post some more information on that. Queen, did you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I don't know if it's still up right now, but you can check and see. But I know Stand with Crypto was doing some pretty proactive things with the Clarity Act when the first drafts came out, and you could just hop on their website, Stand with Crypto, and send a letter directly to your senator encouraging them to consider DeFi and stablecoin yields for maintaining those rights for crypto. So I thought that was pretty good, proactive on their part. They usually are pretty on top of things. So yeah, check them out and see if they have anything new, or you can just reach out to your representative directly.
Yeah, I think I am going to just because I did that once when that first had rolled out, and I think this week I am going to just at least once a day call in to the Senate switchboard hotline, get my senator and my House representative, office. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to get them directly on the phone, but I'm pretty sure I can get their offices at least on the line, and I'm going to say, hey, I want to leave a message, to somebody about how I feel, and I just think like, if we can get the phones ringing off the hinges, at in Congress, I think that'll really wake up some people. Like, like I don't know who's checking mail
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
and letters these days, but I'm pretty sure like, if somebody's sitting in the office and the phone just starts ringing off the hook for 8 hours straight, I think people will get the memo. You know what I mean? So yeah, but it doesn't hurt to do all the above. How about all the above? You know,
Definitely. Hey, I want
definitely.
to see if Mr. Lightspeed or Clifford had any thoughts on this as well. You guys hop in here anytime.
No, I'm just here for the color commentary right now, which means I'm everything I write is or say is underwritten with 10% of the truth. So, yep, that's where I'm at right now.
Give us your wildest takes then.
The wildest takes of what's going on right now.
Yeah, go for it.
I, the wildest take of everything that's going on right now. That's pretty wild. That's pretty wide. Um, Y'all are clinging on to the fact that there's going to be an altcoin market or there's going to be some kind of bullish something coming up here. You guys are a year and a half late to what's going on here. Everything you got to do was done in the past. Everything you it has to be done way ahead of everything that we're talking about today. So that's my commentary for today. Everything that our wonderful host is talking about is stuff that if you're really good at what you're doing, anticipated, right? Or guessed or gambled and and mitigated in some way, right? So my whole attitude is that if I didn't do that to 18 months ago, I'm screwed. So I'm curious what people think about that attitude.
Clifford, any thoughts?
I don't know what Lightspeed's talking about, but I do know uh, people shouldn't wait around for Coinbase to send out a newsletter or an advisory statement telling them to call their representatives. Um,
Ah, Coinbase.
I, I think, or stand with crypto, whichever you want to say. I think people should take the initiative And if they want something or they have concerns over something, they should call their representatives that they had the motivation to go vote for in the elections, whether it been midterm, presidential, whatever, special election that they called. I think people, if you're really interested in something, don't wait around for somebody else to do it. Do it yourself. Call them. If you got concerns, reach out to somebody. Call them every single day, like Bender said. You know, send a letter, send an email, whatever you want to do. If you're for something, call them, say, "Hey, I'm for this." If you're against it, call and say, "Hey, I'm against this crap." If you'd like to propose any type of changes to something, call them and tell them that. It may not mean anything, but I guarantee you, if enough people called every single day, like what Bender was saying, something would happen. Something would happen if enough people called.
And I agree.
Unfortunately,
I Yeah, I agree with you, Clifford. I can put on my serious hat here. Um,
yeah.
I try to do that. I'm in Washington D.C. Putting on the serious hat. Recently was at the CFTC event with the SEC, and there are a lot of people there on the front lines, and you just got to talk to them. Send them a letter. Or a message. They do listen. They want to understand, and they are paying attention. That's about the only thing I'm going to add on to here that thought shocked me is that the individuals that I spoke to actually were literate on the topic. That blew me away, man. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy that, I mean, it's, a couple of years ago when we were in these spaces, we were discussing, do they even know what crypto is? Do they even know what blockchain is? Well, now they can hold an entire conversation with people who's been working on the blockchain for years,
right.
and they know what it is. They know exactly what all this stuff is.
Yeah,
So,
and some of them are just like you and me, right? They get it. They're even playing in the field. Some of them are outright degenerates. I found one, and so I was like going, "You're kidding me, really? Do you know about this token?" And they get into that. It's a little bit of a friendly thing that I found was amusing, both with SEC and CFTC staffers, right? Because when you think about it, this is the rank and file. These are people like you and me, right? What you really care about is the decision makers and legislators because they're political. So everything's going to have that political grind, and the people that are doing the hard work are just going to simply have to do what the administration tells them to do. But you still want them smart so that they can push back. So there's two ways to fight the problem: from the bottom up and from the top down. And so I think people are getting smarter. That matters. So still write your letters in, phone your representative or your senator, all that stuff. It's important. We actually do in crypto have uh, people walking the halls and doing all that stuff, pushing for this community. I think that people don't appreciate that very much. Being a lobbyist, right? I think that has such a bad connotation behind the word lobbyist, but we actually do have lobbyists.
I
Yeah,
would,
Mr.
I would go ahead. I'm
Sorry,
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 Queen.
Clifford. No, go ahead, Clifford. You were first.
No, I actually butted in there, so you had your hand up if you want to go,
Oh, I just wanted to
and I
ask
can
Mr.
wait.
Lightspeed from his experience, like, what I'm hearing people talk about who are in those circles on spaces are that the CFTC is like a tiny fraction of the size of the SEC and have the, personnel that are, maybe not ready for the scope of this. Did you feel like they had it under control, or do you feel like they're just like got run over by a bus?
I think they have a good understanding of it, but things move at a political pace, right? And things move. within the realm of what can we do and what can we not do. And what I found was for the longest time, CFTC kind of had a bit of a backseat, more passive attitude to things, whereas SEC was really aggressive on enforcements and whatnot. Because one, it tends to be a lot more sexier than the other. Um, and a lot of people don't think about commodities and speculating versus stocks and investing. Um, a lot of people think heavily on one area, but now the CFTC is realizing we need to step up. And some things that I heard when I was sitting in there was things like we are now going to engage directly in things that are actually our domain and our responsibility. And if we see lawsuits or actions that we should be involved in, we will now do that. Which what I saw was basically an attack across the bow 5 feet away to the other guy sitting, which is the SEC chairman, going, "We are going to be involved now." And he didn't have a problem with that. As a matter of fact, he's probably saying, "Goodness, because I don't want to carry all this heavy lifting by myself."
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the insight. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'd say also they need to come up with a better test than the Howey test for crypto. That works for stocks, but I do believe crypto is different than stocks. Devise a test, if you will. If really you're trying to determine if something is a security or a commodity in crypto terms, complete create a test that's just for crypto. Don't make it difficult. I mean, you any of us in this space right here, we could go down the top 100 on CoinMarketCap right now and probably pick which ones we think is a security and which ones we think is a commodity. It's not hard. It's really
Hey,
not.
can I jump in though on
Yeah.
this? Why are people so hung up on whether they're a security or a commodity in the first place? That's an important question.
Only because they made it an issue. I don't
Really?
think the people. Yes.
Because it really because think about it. One has one set of rules and another has another set of rules. And then you
Yes.
have a group of people going, "What kind of rules do I want to play in? What is in my best self-interest of what I'm going to report to my holders, the people who are putting money into what I'm doing? What level of accountability as me as a developer do I want to uphold myself to for scrutiny and accountability?" So you see what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm only
Yes.
saying this for color. I'm only saying it as a contrarian to get people to think that sometimes if you're raising capital because you need to spend that capital because you're borrowing money from other people, because that's why people actually go public and become a security because you need to raise,
Right.
right? And because of that, you give them a say. They can vote. Oh shit! Now we're looking like a DAO. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
getting really close to what's going on with the security. And so,
Mm-hmm.
and that, so what I'm saying is, um, to me, looking at it from a degenerate, I look at it from the concept of I don't trust a lot of people, and I see a lot of fuckers who are going to do whatever they can to get away from accountability. And you know
True.
what? That's fine if you can keep the fine line between the two sides. But what
Right.
was the true motivation? And to me, the true motivation, self sovereignty, keeping all my money, trying to launder my money, trying not to pay taxes on that money, whatever it is, you name the angle. Um,
Right.
I look at the motive. There's times when being a security actually could be to your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Especially if you're doing everything the right way.
right. So,
I mean,
and
yes.
so security became a bad word. I'll get to you, buddy. I'll hand this back over. Um, security became a bad word in the crypto community. And it was just that. It's bad no matter what, without people really understanding the difference between the two and how. depending on how you structure yourself in your business, you probably could very well succeed as a security and as a crypto industry. But most people simply just did not have the skill and the capabilities and the lawyers and the fully functional human resources and company profiles and registrations and everything that come to it. Because when you all know this. Um, you don't have to formally structure yourselves as like you would if you were a security. You work for any of these projects, they're just giving you a telegram message. Yeah, I'll pay you this much money for this, and and if you do your work, and if they don't pay you, you're fucked. Everything is not done. Everything's done so informally. Nothing is structured. I'm just on the whim of an anon that he's going to pay me. They ain't
Yeah.
going to fly as a security.
Right.
So where was my protections if I was working for somebody? So this really drills down. But anyway, there you go. I've thrown on enough fireworks for people to chime
No,
in
that's
on.
good. That's
You've
good.
got a
Yeah.
lively panel when the host has his hand up. This is awesome.
That's the
Sorry,
goal.
Ben.
Well, I try to let things flow here, so I did want to chime in on that. I think I don't know because there's so many blurred lines in crypto. I guess you could say like you could be a crypto project, like you said with a DAO, and that kind of thing there too. But I think the simplest way, the kind of for everybody involved, and this would just be my personal suggestion. Again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not part of Congress or anything like that, and I don't know all the ins and outs and what this might entail, but I think like the SEC should be probably a little bit more in charge of like exchanges or organizations per se. And I think the CFTC should be a little bit more in charge of just like looking after projects and like individual tokens and releases and that kind of thing. And I think if the CFTC was a little bit more like, hey, these are the guidelines that we need you to follow in terms of a token launch, that would kind of broad line that, but still kind of leave that area for crypto to still grow. And I think I mean, you want somebody to be held accountable in an FTX type of situation, of course, and those kind of things. When there's an organization that's now responsible and making itself responsible for other people's money, that's where things can get really dicey. You don't want the lawlessness of crypto to kind of go overboard where nobody's held accountable. So I think if you just kind of drew the line in the sand right there for those two, and then they could kind of work out their individual things from there and what that entails, I think that would be a good workaround.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic, actually. And then, back to the yield thing. Um, I think really, man, the elected officials kind of need to. I honestly believe. Look, we've had how many meetings between. I'm not really going to say crypto. I'll say the centralized side of crypto and the banks, and we've yet to reach an agreement. I think at some point the government just needs to step in and say, "Hey, look, you guys can't make a decision. You can't come to an agreement together. This is what it's going to be. Get used to it. You don't have to love it, but this is how it's going to be." And make it to where, the banks have had decades, decades to fix the yield issue. Like, I mean, I've got a checking account. I think it gets 0.01% yield, right? I mean, it's nothing. Come on. So they've had a very long time in order um, to give people, their customers actually, better yields, which would make it more attractive for them to want to place their money in their system. And you've had that time. You could have fixed it. You didn't. Now there's crypto. Crypto actually came about because of what happened with the banking system, and the real estate market, as we know, back in 2008. You guys have screwed up, right? So now you're going to have some competition and figure it out. The best man wins. Whoever survives is the winner. And if you can't, then sorry. But I really think at a certain point, we've got to quit talking about things and do things. Enough talk, action is needed. All right. So, I mean, if you don't like the 4% yield, split it in the middle. 2% for both. Banks, you give 2% yield. Crypto, the most you can do is 2% yield on stable coins. Everybody's happy. Take it right off into the sunset. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
and to piggyback on top of what you're talking about too, Clifford, there are also online banks for high yields too as well that offer better rates than your bigger banks with everything there too. So it's not maybe that might be the reason why they're like, hey, we're not going to let this happen. I don't know, but they already have that competition in play now. Is what I'm saying with everything there too. So yeah, so I think that yeah, and they can just be competitive. Like just to be honest, like like you've got a way head start in regards to that, instead of just, hey, I'm just going to pay off some Congress people to, crush the bill, and we'll do business as usual. Like, get into DeFi. Like, you don't have the overhead. You don't have to have a physical bank in place. Like you could run, with the AI agents or whatever you got now. You could run it, on a tight ship, and you could bring your bank online and be competitive. What if you came out, as a I don't know, a JP Morgan Chase, and you came out with, 7, 8, 10%, yearly, savings, online only, deposit your money, just let us hold it, we'll kick you back something like, then that kind of puts, centralized exchanges on notice, in terms of that and what they got to do to step up. So yeah, I'm with you there too. I just love free markets and healthy competition, and that's like what you were saying, Clifford, is kind of what this was all born into. And I agree with you 1,000,000%. Queen, it's up to you. We are officially 7 minutes over. I can either go over that last topic or we can do final thoughts and wrap this up. What do you want to do?
I'm good with the last topic if you want.
You want to go with the last topic?
Yeah,
All right.
let's
Well,
do it.
all right. We got 23 minutes, y'all. So I want everybody's thoughts on this one, so I'm glad we got a good panel up here tonight. Too, if anybody wants to chime in down there in the comments, please retweet the room. Also, I put down there in the comments, if you're on TikTok, please register for Queen's Space tomorrow. I mean, live tomorrow. Space here, live there, with everything. I believe. What time will that start, Queen?
Hey, it's at 7 Eastern.
Okay, 7 Eastern. All right, cool. So 7 Eastern. If y'all can, if you're on TikTok, please register. Show some love, show up for support in terms of that one. Again, Gabby's comes on here at Space at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Seat at the table. No blind. The bot chain will be on tomorrow night sometime, usually about 8:30 Eastern. Who else do we have? Treat Space too as well. I think. Gosh, don't quote me. It's the last Spaces Tuesday. A lot going on Tuesdays. That's why I did this one Monday. With everything and everybody else out there in between. But tonight, what are everybody's thoughts on this? So I see an online rush to tokenize stocks, and I kind of wanted to go with everybody's thoughts on this here before I kind of had some of my concerns that I'm gonna kind of put out there on the table with everything there too. But before I did that, I think I'll start off with you, Queen, here. What was your thoughts on tokenizing stocks?
Hey, Bender, I'm gonna let someone else go because I'm driving. I'll answer last, okay?
Okay, no worries. Lightspeed, did you have any thoughts on stocks, tokenizing stocks?
I don't. This one's actually out of my lane. I would need a minute or two to think on it. It just really just, I think, looking at it from my point of view, is that it just confuses me, right? I have a stock and now it's tokenized. And how does it work between the two? I think for someone in the rank and file, it's harder to comprehend what a tokenized stock really is. When I can just buy the stock, right, directly with the asset that's involved. And if tokenization is more expensive, because I look at things from cost overhead, I look things from like, what it costs to manage it that way. And to me, that's what I worry about is that tokenization still giving me the value that I want if I were to get that asset? That's really the thing that comes. I mean, it's genuinely exciting, but I just want to know I'm getting the value. And it's
No,
24/7. Crypto never sleeps, so we know that. But I don't know. Someone else jump in.
nope, and those are all valid points here. I'm seeing it kind of being rolled out here, so I don't have all the answers either in regards to this one too. But before I kind of go with what my thoughts are, I'll go over here to Clifford. Did you have anything that you wanted to chime in regards to tokenized stocks?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think we might be losing you.
You guys there? You guys there?
Yep, I hear.
Sorry, I knew that was going to happen. Call come in. No, I mean I like it. I really like it a lot, actually. The as Lightspeed said, the 24/7 trading is good. Now we've seen where the I believe it's the New York Stock Exchange has gone to or has proposed to go to a 24/5 schedule, where the weekend would basically be off 24/7 throughout the weekdays, 2 days off for the weekend. That's okay. That's good. My questions, though, are what I would like to see from tokenized stocks, right? First would be, let's say I have an IBIT share, Bitcoin Trust, BlackRock. I'm earning a dividend off of that, right? I want to know, do it by me holding the tokenized version, do I still get that dividend earning off of that? That's my first question, right? Second question is it backed 1 to 1 with an IBIT stock, right? Is it backed? Is it fully, I wouldn't say insured, but is it fully uh, transferable to that stock, I guess you could say. Right. That would be my next question. I don't want to hold a stock if it's not backed by an underlying actual stock, right? I don't want to hold a tokenized stock if it's not backed by the underlying stock. So if it's not, it's just air, and I don't want to hold air. I want to hold something tangible. Third thing would be, all right, if I have a tokenized stock, can I trade that? Can I cross trade that with, let's say, I don't want to hold this stock anymore. I want to swap it for Ethereum, right? I want to swap it for an actual token. Can I do that? If I do that, what happens now to that tokenized stock? Does it go back to the broker slash issuer? Who has that stock now? Because I mean, it can't just go to another wallet, could it? There's been no agreement there. So is that even possible to do? Would be my third question. If all of those prerequisites can be met, then I really like the idea of it. If they can't be met, then I might as well just buy the stock, from my broker or Robinhood or, Fidelity, somebody like that. But obviously we're going to go towards tokenization. Um, and that's really what they want. They want tokenized securities, and that would certainly be securities, which is kind of confusing because we were talking about the last topic of what actual projects are already considered securities. So now you've got the tokenized actual securities that we know is securities. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on into it, but obviously, I think it could be really big. I don't know if it will take away from crypto as we know it already. Like if people would leave, let's say, your let me just pick a project out of them. Let's say they're holding some Filecoin. Well, maybe they would get out of that position, and they may go hold some tokenized Google or some tokenized Microsoft share instead of holding that crypto project. So I don't know. I mean, I like it. It's intriguing, but there's got to be some answers there, and it just can't be, oh, I see I have this tokenized stock, but is it really? How do I know what you're telling me is true? In other words, so, but I think it's definitely going to be something big, Bender. At the end of the day, we just got to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, man, thank you. I like the angles you and Lightspeed are coming up with here. It's definitely and I've kind of thought about this all week, and you both have brought up some points that I wasn't even thinking about. And the questions I really hope anybody that's in charge of tokenizing stock somewhere could run this back and listen to it, and hopefully they're implementing those questions there too. Before I come into a couple of my concerns here, I'm gonna go over here to Crypto Queen. I see you with your hand up here. If you're able to talk, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, thanks, Bender. I'll come at it from the pro angle since I know you're going to mention some concerns. I won't hit on those too much, but I think it's got a huge long-term potential. Like I think it'll make um, transactions faster. Definitely going to make them cheaper. It's going to cut out the middleman. So much money can be saved by cutting those folks that are just pushing paperwork basically. And this is all RWAs, not just stocks. But I think in the short term, there's regulatory issues, adoption issues, of course, and it's not going to happen overnight. But I think 24/7 global trading is going to be pretty exciting to see. I mean, we always say that on the weekends, Bitcoin never sleeps. So to be able to do what we do, trade crypto and um, borrow, lend, earn yield, everything throughout the week is pretty exciting to most people that are in crypto to be able to do that as well with stocks. And you're going to have those instant settlements, which is going to be awesome. You're not going to have seconds of delays or even more time than that. It's going to happen automatically. It's going to be for the most part, unless you're using some of the privacy chains, it's going to be transparent. You can see those happening on chain instantaneously. So I think it's going to also allow people to, better um, democratization. I can't say that, but it's going to, allow people who wouldn't normally be able to afford, big or, the full asset to have like fractions of an asset, a few dollars of a blue chip stock or, some real estate or some fine art, to be able to do that with. So that's also another advantage. So I think it's definitely gonna be here before we know it, but I think the full picture is gonna be like 5 to 10 years away. Is my thoughts on that. So to you, Bender.
Go ahead and give me a couple of your concerns.
Okay, yeah, we definitely the regulatory stuff is going to be kind of messy. Different rules by different countries will slow things down for sure, create uncertainty. Um, it's still really early. I think most assets aren't tokenized yet, so the liquidity is not always there. Transparency also can be an issue. And then, the volatility risk. What if we have flash crashes? And, we always have bugs in smart contracts. We have hacks, as we all know very well, and chain issues, like hard forks could create some uncertainty. So I think those are a few of the things that I thought when I was thinking about this question. So go ahead.
Okay, and you did hit on a couple of the ones I was thinking about too. So thank you. But again, some other thought processes that kind of broaden the horizons overall. And I think me personally, I'm probably about 55-45 for it versus against it. I do think that it's one thing to have a very speculative crypto market, worldwide trading 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays, that kind of thing. I think it's another whole other aspect when it's people's retirements and pensions on the line, 24/7. Like you were just talking about, Queen. You're susceptible to hacks. I mean, could you imagine, like, a whale buying a ton of Nvidia, and just gets their phone hacked, somewhere in Singapore, randomly on vacation, and like, Nvidia stock craters, on a Sunday, in regards to that, and somebody's portfolio gets wiped out, or a sim swap, or just all the crazy stuff you already hear about in crypto. Also, just last week, Coinbase, which has been a big proponent of tokenization, 24/7 trading, that kind of thing there too as well. Well, last week, their transfers, buys and sells weren't working for a period of time during the day. I went on to do a little bit of research with them. They haven't necessarily been quote unquote hacked. However, they did have an incident where they had employed what they kept saying, and the thing was wrongdoing. But if I can remember correctly, this employee's brother was getting inside information on tokens getting released. Could you imagine that if you got the heads up on stocks getting ready to come online for Coinbase, and you're loading up on those stocks prior to them, going up there, and that kind of thing there
Using
too.
Nancy Pelosi.
Right? Yeah, yeah, just yeah. Basically, yeah, you just got Nancy Pelosi at exchanges now. Yeah, exactly. So, those kind of things there too. So, I mean, there's just mine's for the most part, like, I'm not necessarily sure, like, if other nations 24/7 should be competing in the stock market, for the US is basically what I'm saying. I don't know how much access they have, but there's like breaker points, where they'll just physically stop stocks from selling, if they're going off the rails too far, and that type of thing there too as well. And they might have those guardrails in place, and able to put those in place 24/7 online, and that kind of thing there too. But I just think it kind of opens us up for governments worldwide to kind of tamper with the market. So not totally against it. I'm pretty sure there's some brainiac, in these higher up places that's already thinking about, and has already addressed these concerns. But for me, it's just like I haven't heard, those type of things yet, coming out. All I just keep hearing is, stocks 24/7 tokenization. All I'm thinking is like exchanges are just, counting the dollars on the transaction fees running up, and that kind of thing. So yeah, but for me, it's like, it's a little bit different than crypto when you're talking about, and I know a lot of people in, like, auto manufacturing and that kind of thing there too. I'd hate to see somebody, work, 30 years in the, in the auto manufacturer, looking forward to their retirement on a good plan, and like I said, it just gets wiped out, just because somebody online did something stupid, and that it affects everybody in the real world. So that would just be my only concern. Queen, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, listening to your concerns makes me realize more why some of these big corporate giants are investing in RWAs on Ethereum, because of the security. It's probably the best in the business, and but hopefully that type of thing would be less likely to happen on the L1. Now, maybe once you get on the L2s, if they're not fully decentralized, etc., you'd run into BlackRock's Biddle fund is huge, and it's building on Ethereum. Um, and Ethereum doesn't have downtime issues like some of the other chains. I know a lot of the RWA protocols are building on Solana, but I've heard a lot more instances, not necessarily late, but the past of Solana going down, having network outages, and so I can see why they're kind of drifting toward Ethereum.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Vitalik's been known to rewind the blockchain and go grab this money back. That's a whole other topic for another day. But anyway, yeah, just my thoughts. I thought it was interesting because, like I say, I've just seen the rah rah cheer section for about the past month or so, and it's really intense. Well, it's been for about a year or so, but at least the last month or so, it's really intensified. And now you're starting to see a lot of the, or a little bit more activity, I should say, and actually, stocks coming online now. with everything. So yeah, again, just like I say, to me, it's a little bit different than crypto in terms of like, hey, maybe this, yeah, I don't mind that kind of being regulated because that's actually dealing with, people's, productivity and physical labor and, you know, time and energy really being put into something versus, us, our sheer belief and monetary backing of that belief, and, in the mighty speculative world of crypto, in terms of that one. Like that's okay because it's an emerging market in regards to 24/7 worldwide, participation in that kind of thing. Stocks, yeah, I don't know if everybody needs to be around stocks like that, but we'll see. It's coming either way. So hopefully those guardrails will be put in place or can be handled in concerns as we go along here. All right, let's see here. We gotta wrap up here in a few. So I'm gonna go around the room here and give everybody a moment here to go with their final thoughts. Mr. Lightspeed, if you'd like to start off with yours, I appreciate you coming up here tonight.
No problem. Thanks for having me come on and be a goofball and speak serious at the same time. But the only final comment I would have with the tokenized stock thing is when I think about it is that if I'm going to own an equity, I want the legal ownership. That's plain and simple, right? So, as we go down this path, I think those are the kind of questions: is what do I get as a benefit of buying this token? Uh, do I get the 24/7 something that mirrors the price of a security, but I don't have the rights? Then why even bother buying it when I'll just go over to Fidelity and buy the stock? So, just know what you're getting. I think a lot of people are just not going to understand the difference between what it means to have legal ownership in an asset versus God, I'm stretching my brain here. So like a synthetic derivative that just tracks price, but you don't get any actual ownership rights. So I think that's where we play. I mean, security is really not that bad of a word if you think about it, because you got something that's been secured. And so I think people are going to come around to that. Just know what rights you get when you get the asset down this path and ask the hard questions.
Yep, I am right there with you, and I appreciate your input and thought process here tonight, Mr. Lightspeed. Again, thank you for coming up. Clifford, we'll move over here to you. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I second what Lightspeed said, and also both you and Queen as well. And I would just say, as with anything, DYOR. If you're interested in it, definitely do your research on it before you jump into something. So we'll see what the future holds for us. Hopefully, things for crypto and markets alike will improve over time, and the lines won't be as blurred as they are today, and we'll have, for lack of a better word, more clarity. Whether it comes in a Clarity Act or it's just something that kind of defines what we need to know. But regardless, happy to share this space with you guys. Thanks for having me up. Shout out to y'all for doing the space, and hope everybody has a great rest of your week, or start to your week, I should say.
No problem, Clifford, and thank you again for coming up. Not only for your input in regards to tokenized stocks, but again, appreciate you bringing attention to that Clarity Act. And I know I couldn't find the tweet, but I know you had a tweet where you actually ran it through like AI, found all the issues and everything. I was like, I didn't even really look at it until I think you broke it out even before Brian Armstrong came out and was kind of pointing out those concerns with everything there too. So thanks to the super sleuths like yourselves that did take a moment to look into everything. I got to sharpen my skills and start looking a little bit more deep in these laws and stuff. But kudos to you and the others out there that really scrutinize and bring attention to stuff, and I really appreciate it. You there too as well. If you got that tweet, man, put it in the comments too as well. But I'll find it and retweet it. If not, I
Uh,
got you bookmarked somewhere.
I sure will, Bender. I appreciate it, man. And it's kind of like buying a used car. You want to kick the tires before you hand the money over and make sure it's not going to break down on you when you pull out of the parking lot. So we just got to be careful because not everybody's going to be on our side, even if they say they are. We just always have to, keep our wits about us. So appreciate you, man.
The space there. I'm back. I don't know if you were finished or not, but I
I
appreciate you.
wonder what happened.
I did too.
I,
I
I
was
thought
like,
I
uh
was
oh.
I
I
was
thought
good.
I
I was
dropped.
like, okay. Hopefully the space isn't crashing. Queen, any final thoughts here?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, Clifford. If you want to pin that tweet up, would love to have that one. It was a really good one about the Clarity Act. Also, Coach has had some really good tweets lately. I think we pinned a couple of those up in the nest, so definitely check those out. And Zach, you always have great posts, so keep them coming. And just want to invite everybody to tomorrow night. We're doing a TikTok live. It's going to be lessons from the trenches about humanity. So a topic that we all should be concerned about as we're kind of seasoned here in the crypto space, but not everybody is. People are coming in here new, and just some good reminders, to be kind to new folks and to help them just navigate these waters a little bit more easily. So it's 7 Eastern tomorrow night on TikTok Live. I've got it pinned up there, and you guys can find a link directly to it. So would love to have you guys check that out as well. And I think I've done 3 lives now. I've got 4 more to go till I can invite guests up, which is my goal. We originally wanted to host these on TikTok, but realized we had to have a few hoops to jump first. So can't wait to get that going. So I hope you guys can join us, and I hope you guys are getting something out of this new series. Thank you all for coming, and have a great week.
Thank you, Crypto Queen. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of summarized everything here tonight. So I'm going to cede my time to do some shout outs here. And I appreciate everybody still in the room hanging with us. We'll start off with Wise Token. Appreciate you coming in the room. My guy, Zax. Good to see you. Mr. Raincoin himself, Treasure, who's been here from the get go. Appreciate you coming through as well. Zach from Subway. Make sure y'all check out pulseswitch.io. A new social media. I've been posting on there trying to stay consistent with that one. But big shouts out to my guy. Death Wish Crypto. Make sure y'all follow Raid Sharks. Doing big things here. I'm pretty sure they'll have a mega space coming up here. The Meg, I like to call it. Again, tomorrow night, Tuesdays, Seat at the Table with Gabby. Make sure y'all follow her too as well. We got Saitama Oz in the building. Good to see you. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you so much for coming out here along with JBX. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. My guy, Zhang Ziming. Appreciate you too. Big shouts out to Sheba Soaps. Make sure y'all check out ShebaSoapsandScrubs.com. Get you some good quality soap that's is about as environmentally friendly and ecosystem friendly as you can find. Packages down to the ingredients with everything there. And David, thank you for hanging in there with us. I think I've seen you here pretty much the entire space. Along with the panel tonight, Clifford. Appreciate you once again, Mr. Lightspeed. Thank you for coming up. Off Grid Podcast. That's our little separate handle here for the space itself. We're trying to level up here a little bit. So I just want to make sure I had that up here tonight as speaker. And of course, I'm not a host. I'm just here in the left corner. But along with my hosting partner here, Queen, who always brings the heat and always has great topics. Again, make sure Tuesdays, if you're on TikTok, to check out that live too as well. But outside of that, I thank everybody for coming in. We'll be back next week with some more interesting takes and some different topics and go from there. Everybody take care. Have a great evening. God bless. Thank you. And definitely be safe in your travels.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.